We present the Rumble in Birmingham, a clash of ITSM titans debating the future for our industry and what to do about it now. Live in front of you on stage, you'll hear two sets of opinions debated by two of the industry's most innovative and prolific personalities. Let's commence. Can I ask Chris to begin the debate talking about the future?
I think it's so very important that in the future we focus on us. We're the customer. We actually have to focus on, does it make sense for us before we can even have the ability to focus on someone else. There's an urgent need to abandon this whole idea of processes. We need to look at them and simplify them. Look at a process and take away everything that's not essential. We need to focus on removing away things from processes and seeing what the minimum viable process would be. I don't think value is something that we can create. I think it's only something we can take away from. It's like trust, it's always there until you remove from it, and then it's a real struggle to get it back. So I think we should kill self-service immediately, and I think self-service doesn't exist in the future. I would like to see open self-service if we're going to do something with it. So if I submit an issue, I think in the future other people should be able to interact with that. We need to really reevaluate our idea of dashboards, and we need to look at maybe personal analytics and allow people to define in the future what's important to them on the service desk. Knowledge management doesn't exist in the future, and I love knowledge bases. But I think they need to be very personal, and that's why I like the concept of a knowledge locker. We need to stop surveying people. You survey land, you don't survey humans. With the people who take surveys, you don't want them answering questions. They've got too much time on their hands. And the people you want to get the answers from will never take a survey. So we need to find some better way of doing this. Now, I'm not advocating putting a sensor on every single person in the world, but I think it's a good start. And then bring your own device and all the drama around bring your own device. At this point, it's really silly. If you told me not to bring my own device to work, do you know how much I'd have to take off?
Okay, thank you, Chris. Rob England, the IT Skeptic. What's your view of the future?
One of the issues, in fact, it's driving me just about demented lately in our industry, is all of these dire predictions for the future about IT will be gone within 5 years, BYOD will destroy X, and I think there's way too much of that in our industry. A lot of that comes from extrapolating curves. So people look at a trend, these curves are going like this, Moore's law and blah, 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 blah. You can extrapolate all the curves you want. In the real world, and that's my world, every trend that people are forecasting into the future is going to hit a physical constraint at some point. Real IT is about people interacting with information. So technology can change as fast as it like, and I think that we're rapidly approaching the limit of the human rate of change. Another thing that people do too much is they confuse their personal digital experience with real IT. So if you want to look 5-10 years in the future and say what is real IT going to look like, I'll tell you it's going to look much like it looks today. We'll see other trends. BYOD absolutely is going to grow. It's an unstoppable thing. And so we need to work really quickly to put the mitigation in place to manage that. And we'll see decentralization, the business going and doing its own thing, and a growth of governance to try and get these people under some sort of control. And the last thing is we'll see DevOps having an influence on what we do with its concepts flowing back into real IT.
I don't think there's a real world and a not real world. I don't know the two worlds you're speaking of. I live in a world that we're all in. You can't deny exponential thinking. We shouldn't have a debate on quantum physics, although I would like to.
As a trained physicist, I'd be delighted to talk to you about quantum physics.
And as someone who continued reading after I went to school, I would like to. But some of the things I think we can do now, has anybody heard of Rackspace? One of the things Rackspace did about 3 years ago was they rewarded shadow IT. So if you came forward and said you had a sneaky, not allowed system, they gave you accolades and said, why are you using it? We have this massive disconnect when it comes to how we log incidents and how we manage systems and actually the tools themselves. I don't know why we haven't evolved some more robust system of understanding users. I would have loved to see more about that person, what projects they're working on, what volume of email do they send? Do they call in the morning? Do they call at the night? I think the last thing that we really need to focus on is mobility. I think contextual awareness in our devices is important. If your phone is smarter than the tool you run on the desk, we have a problem. I'll just give you a prime example. I have a lot of files, like you all do, right? And I can't find stuff as easily as I should be able to. So I started saying, well, how could I make stuff more accessible? Well, now when I need a presentation or a document, most of the systems I use now are location and time based. So I left my presentation for this event here. I was in Denver, but I geotagged it for here, and I geotagged it for yesterday. So when I showed up, I didn't look on my hard drive. It was here at that moment.
There are some things we need to resist at the moment. There are expectations being placed on us. If Apple can have Genius bars in every shop, why can't we have Genius bars at work? Why can't our legacy apps just show up on my iPhone? You start charging the organisation for IT at a 20% premium, and we'll give you your jolly Genius bar, no problem at all. But on the current budgets you're giving us, we're not Apple. Hello, reality calling, right? The other thing that I'm seeing is that IT exists to protect and to serve. We are the stewards of the existing investment in information and technology, and it's a legacy asset, and it's our job to protect it. At the same time, we're expected to serve, which is to deliver new value to the business, to respond to change, to react and deliver. So one of the things I talk about is slow IT. This is about the demands that are raining down on IT from the business, where the IT department's got more concurrent active IT projects than they've got damn people in the IT department, right? We cannot continue to deliver at the pace at which it's being demanded of us by the world. And that comes from that sense of entitlement, from the confusion of the personal digital experience.
The human rate of change is also kind of a red herring, because I'm just going to go there.
Because can I just finish my point first?
If you want to.
We as an industry need to be getting the message up, and organisations like ISACA are starting to do that, but they're failing at doing it.
Because they're an organisation.
So there needs to be some sort of initiative to do better at this. And I don't know what it is, but I agree with you. You can't go to your board. Well, you can try, but...
if you get fired, call me. I'll help.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think you should get rid of all the ITIL processes and all the things that we've spent all these years doing. That's not what I'm advocating at all. I just think we need to remove from them.
You need to have systems in place where you do liberate the people who are entitled to be liberated.
What do you think people need to be doing now? What one takeaway from this event that you would say service desk managers, service desk people should be doing?
We should feel entitled to stand up and say, excuse me, but I think you are endangering our existing information and technology assets with what you are proposing. And if they then say, no, we're going to do it anyway, then okay, I want it in writing that I said I didn't think this was a very good idea.
I do believe you can go back to your work, because you are about to come into power or know people who are in power, and you're going to be able to influence them. And you're going to be able to steer them with information that they didn't have access to 2 decades ago or a decade ago. And I think it's up to each one of you to understand the information that you have access to and to use it in the best possible way in service to each other. I think what's missing from these conferences are sessions on how to make you feel empowered, how to make sure you know that you can do this. And if you feel you can't, these are the resources. You don't need surveys, you need mentors. Debate or no debate, we are in this together, and we will solve this together, and I believe that, so thank you.
Thank you very much.